Let's talk about the Home Secretary Priti Patel. She's called on social media companies yesterday to remove videos of Channel migrant crossings. She blames them for encouraging migrants for getting into those rickety dinghies, paying the people traffickers thousands of pounds to come over to the UK. This, by the way, as Kent Council is setting to sue the Home Office over the child migrant crisis, saying they're being overwhelmed with child migrants. Let's talk to Damien Collins. He's Conservative MP for Folkestone and Hythe in Kent. Good morning to you, Damien.
Good morning.
This is an absolute crisis in terms of the number of people we're seeing. We're already looking at thousands coming over this year, many more set to come. Of course, calmer weather over the summer months always sees more. But let's talk first of all about these videos. Priti Patel's pointing out that actually some of these videos are seen, 800,000 times, TikTok videos and the like of migrants crossing, and it's glamorising and popularising the idea of getting on these migrant boats and that it's basically it's all safe and it's all fine and it's head off to the land of milk and honey on the other side of the channel. Is it realistic that actually these videos are the problem rather than just the fact that, thousands of people are making it to the UK and they've got mobile phones and they're telling everyone back at home, don't worry, off you go?
Well, it depends who's posting the films. And I think the point Priti Patel was making is some of these films are being posted by the criminal gangs who use social media to try and recruit customers to make these dangerous journeys. So that is that is therefore those films being used by people engaged in criminal activity, encouraging people to take a measure that could, where they could lose their life in the process. And I think in those particular cases, the social media companies should be acting where they're looking to stop criminal gangs exploiting social media to recruit new customers, and that will be legitimate. You can't, it's also legitimate for people to report the news, and the news is people are arriving in these migrant boats. But I think the question is who is posting these films and for what reasons. And when we can see it's criminal gangs who are doing it in order to get people to sign up to make these crossings, then I think there should be some action taken.
Oh, well, yeah, the only difficulty is with the social media firms is we do see them often getting a little bit overzealous when it comes to taking down videos. So someone could do a news report, but they're not talk radio or Sky or BBC or ITV, and so their report is seen as somehow glamorising and promoting the migrant routes, giving information, and their videos will be taken down. It'd be rather convenient for the Home Secretary, wouldn't it, to not have quite as much publicity over this?
Well, it'd be quite easy for the social media companies to distinguish between a news company reporting facts or even a sort of Kent resident filming something on their phone and someone who's posting that content with links to to a website or other sort of social media account or group where you could get more information about how to make the crossings, or you could be recruited in order to do so. So it should be quite easy for them to see who is posting it and for what reason and what accounts that's connected to. And that's what we don't want to.
Wait a minute, but why do social media companies, why do they get to decide what people can and can't post?
Well, if you're a criminal gang, trying to incite someone to commit a highly dangerous and illegal act, then I think you should act against that. I think that's fairly legitimate to take that sort of content down.
How do the social media companies know that it's a criminal gang posting and saying, here's, they're advertising it like you would say a boat down the Thames, where here's you get on this is the clipper, this is the price of for you and your kids to come on the boat. They're not doing it that openly. This will be the social media companies having to make a decision about who's actually posting this and for what reasons. Since when do we put them in charge?
Well, we're not putting them in charge. We're saying that if social media is being used to incite criminal acts by criminals, by criminal gangs, and you can identify that easily, then that's the sort of content you should take down, because it's not just that the footage itself is just being used as a hook to try and grab the attention of people and encourage them to make that journey. And so you should see, well, when someone engages with that content, what are they being directed to do? And that's what, and I think that is, if someone is inciting someone to commit a criminal act, a very dangerous woman that could lose their life, that is very clear. And I think what we shouldn't do is say, well, actually, we don't care. Social media can be exploited in that way, and the social media companies have got no obligation to do anything at all. I think that would be irresponsible. I
would just be careful what we wish for on that front. Let's also talk about council chiefs in Kent preparing to take legal action against the Home Office after just a huge swathe of unaccompanied child migrants are arriving in the small boats. Some 250 lone children, some as young as 12, many, of course, higher age teens smuggled into the country on the route. 50 came over just on the recent bank holiday weekend alone. Of course, they have to go into care, the statutory duty that Kent County Council has. Of course, massively overwhelmed, massive impact, I would have thought, also on children already in Kent in terms of them being able to access care when they need it. What needs to be done?
Well, I mean, this is a long running argument between the county council and the government because, as you rightly say, um, any if an adult arrives in the country through one of the channel crossings or other means, then there's a dispersal system whereby uh, people in the asylum system are accommodated around the country in proportional numbers, but children are required to be accommodated where they arrive. There is a voluntary scheme for dispersal, so other local authorities can agree to take them. But and over the years, the government has assisted with that, and there has been more of a fair share. And the government has given extra money to Kent. But I think what the county council are saying, it's not enough. And at the moment, we've reached a point where there are too many people being accommodated in Kent for the resources that we have, and therefore the fair thing to do now will be to disperse some of these young people and to give some more financial support to the county council. So I hope they don't have to take them to court. This has been an argument that we've had over the years with the Home Office, and the Home Office have in the past, stumped up extra cash and provided other support. I hope they do again now.
But yeah, eventually the cash isn't the only issue. You actually have to find the spaces and have the staff and the resources for doing that, don't you? Mike, can I also ask you, your former role, you were chair of the Digital Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee for a number of years. Your thoughts on Ollie Robinson, England bowler, fantastic first test against New Zealand. He's been withdrawn for the second test, suspended from all international play as a result of tweets that he wrote back in 2012 and 2013 when he was 18 years old. A lot of them, late night, midnight tweets. Some of them not very pleasant. It's got to be said, he's been accused of racist tweets, sexist tweets. He's apologised profusely, self-flagellated at a press conference, but he's still been suspended pending investigation. Do you think this is going too far for something that someone did many years ago?
Well, I hope this doesn't take too long to investigate because it's quite clear what happened. He posted those tweets. He shouldn't have done so. As you say, he did so not as a professional cricketer, but as a young man. He's given a full apology for it. I think it's quite clear what the tweets are. It's quite clear he regards them as wrong and he's apologised for them. So I hope this can be, I hope that investigation is very swift.
But why should he be suspended? Well, I mean, what's the investigation? I mean, you can see the tweets. Did you write the tweets? Yes, I did. Have you apologised for them? Yes, I have. What's to investigate?
Well, I can see that the ECB may want to look to see are there any other such postings or any other things that will cause concern or not? Was this just these two incidents and he's apologised for it and that's it? But I think there should be a relatively quick thing to investigate, and I hope he's back playing for England very soon.
But do you think this is typical of England? So the Woke Brigade, the Cancel Culture Brigade, demanding his head on a plate, damning our chances in the second test. I mean, do you think that you would still have a job that you've got? Do you think I would think any of us would have a job if we'd had social media when we were 18 and we'd perhaps been drunk and written odd things? I mean, I don't think you or I would have written some of those tweets that have been regarded as racist, but things he's written about women, I don't personally have an issue with it whatsoever. They've been accused of sexism. I don't think they're sexist at all. I think they're a young man talking about young women, and as happens all the time. But do you think you'd pass muster? Do you think any of us would have a job on this basis?
Well, I mean, I think you've got to look at that person's personal circumstances and say what he's posted is wrong. He's now being judged not as just as a young man posting things that he shouldn't have posted on social media, but as an England cricketer. So there is more scrutiny that comes with that. It's right that he apologised, and accepted what he did was wrong. I think it's also right that there should be some investigation as to whether there are any other such similar material, and then I think we should close the matter down. He should be able to resume his England career.
Damien Collins, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate that.